done one of these like impromptu videos in years. Actually the last video I did that was kind of like this, I was sitting in my car. Hey, life. All you can do is laugh. Let me pay for my Chick-fil-A first. This video is extremely overdue because I feel like I was kind of holding back from doing this video. I don't really know why. I think because I kept feeling that I did not have, I don't know, like, am I in the space to give this type of advice? But then I had to start getting over myself and realizing that regardless of how I feel, this video is going to touch the people it needs to touch. And I've noticed that my voice is something that is so powerful for me to use, and I keep trying to not use it for some reason. Okay, so let's jump into it. This video, as you can tell from the title, is Lessons I've Learned from Divorce. This is actually one of the videos that has been on my content creation list for almost 4 months, and I've just been recycling it because sometimes I'm like, what do I say? So I'm in my car and I'm like, Ronke, just talk. And if you guys don't know, I got married every single time I have to think about the dates, I'm just kind of like, bruh, I can't remember one of these years. Let me actually remember. I got married in 2018, and prior to getting married, I really wanted to be married. I wanted to be married not necessarily because of the social status, but because I had a long-term partner for 7 years of my life. And at that time, I did not realize that having a partner for that long should make or break the relationship, and should make or break whether you're with them long-term or whether you're not with them long-term. But at that time, it was more about the goal of marriage for me than it was the relationship itself and the health of the relationship itself. And I think because of the amount of years that I thought I had wasted, I was jumping right into it without even really thinking about what I wanted as a person. And I was so young. Even though, like, obviously I wasn't that young. I was like in my 20s, my late 20s, but I was young in the way I was thinking about marriage and what I wanted from marriage, because I didn't even know what I wanted from marriage. I'd never experienced it before. And I think as a society, we're just pushed as women to go into this thing without really understanding what it is and how it can really affect your life, and how choosing the right partner can either deter your life or move your life forward. I am still, and I'm going to always say this, I am still very much interested in getting married again. This does not affect the way I feel about marriage. However, the way I date and the way I take people into my life now has become extremely different, based off of the fact that now when I look at people and when I'm looking at a potential partner, I think about how they're going to be in a day-to-day, and I think about communication. I think about how they communicate. Not only how they communicate when they're doing well, but how do you communicate when you are angry? And how do you act when you're angry? And I also think about what they have to bring to the table, because I have now realized my self-worth, which is something that I did not even realize for a very long time. Even at times where I thought I understood my self-worth, I didn't. Even at times where I thought that I had a high self-confidence enough to know what I wanted in a partner, I didn't. But now that I'm here, I've been separated now for about 2 solid years. I have learned that it's easier for you to understand and identify what you want in a partner, and not necessarily just looks or aesthetic or just how they make you feel. Identify if you like this person and if their values and attributes match up to yours. Now, a lot of women, when we talk about settling, we think that settling means, oh, this person is not as fine as I thought they were going to be, I'm going to settle for. No. To me, settling means you see certain attributes in a person, and something in your mind goes, oh, when this happens, it's going to change. For example, for me, I genuinely thought that my partner was going to change after I had kids. I rushed into having children because I genuinely believed that, oh, well, our relationship isn't great right now, but when we have kids, you're going to see my worth. When we have kids, you're going to see that, like, I'm this person who, you know, is empathetic, and your children. That's not how it works. The traits that somebody has are the traits that they have aside of you. If you want to pick a partner to marry, you have to first learn yourself. That's one thing that I've learned that is so pivotal in life's journey. Learn yourself. Learn what you like. Learn what you can tolerate. Learn what your needs are. You cannot ask somebody for something you don't know that you need. Do you understand what I mean? Like, I can't say, I'm hungry, I want Chick-fil-A. How do you know you like Chick-fil-A if you haven't explored on your own and figured out you like Chick-fil-A? What if the person you want to marry likes Burger King, and in fact they hate Chick-fil-A? You know what will start to happen without you knowing? You will slowly start like hating Chick-fil-A, because whoever you're around, no matter how strong you are, you slowly become. And marriage isn't just something that you do. You do the ceremony is beautiful. It's like you have to also think about, can I stay with this person through everything? Do I like them enough? Because we're not even talking about love. Do I like them enough to stay with them through everything? Some of us don't even like our siblings. Talk to us of a random stranger that you're now in a bind with, that you live with, that because they have a title, which is husband or wife, you're supposed to tolerate them. Now, did I ever think in this life I was going to get divorced? No. I never thought that. When I said my vows, I 100% already pictured myself as a grandparent with my partner. I never pictured myself as a 30-year-old or in my 30s, a single mom, ever even thinking about dating again. But I think that the way life works is we go through certain experiences, not necessarily just to go through it. And I've said this a lot on my channel. You go through these experiences so you can share with other people, so they can learn from the mistakes that you made. I will never ever call my marriage a mistake. Not only because I have children who I love and cherish and care for, and I cannot imagine my life without, but because the partner that I had taught me every single thing that I needed to know that grew me into this person that I'm proud of today. So even if it was just supposed to be for a season, it happened. And that was my life. And I'm always going to be proud of the decisions I made because of the person I was then. However, you on the other screen watching me, that either isn't married, is engaged, is trying to figure out what they want in life, do not let anybody rush you. I joke with my brothers all the time. I'm like, when you getting married? Or I joke with my cousin, when you getting married? But somewhere deep down inside my mind, marriage is an important thing. It's not just what you see on social media. It's important. It's a very important decision you have to make. Because even in the Bible it says, he who finds a wife finds a good thing. As a woman, you have to cherish yourself. You have to understand that I know there's so many debates. Who's depressed, who's not depressed. Don't let anybody fool you. I genuinely believe that both male and female have parts of themselves that they can add to each other. And what marriage does is, if you get a solid, strong woman, good head on her shoulders, emotionally intelligent, who is able to articulate and who is able to freely love, with a man who is also articulate, able to freely love, and who also has things going for them, and you put them together, what that's gonna do is going to accelerate both of their lives. Because what's gonna happen is, this person could have knowledge in one field, another person has knowledge in another field, and they come together and it's like a puzzle piece. No one completes each one. Each one is whole, but when they come together in their wholeness, they're able to go forward to be able to have children, that if they want children, because again, not all couples want children, which is fine, but they're able to go forward and put what they want into life, if that's what you even want. Because let's be real, not everybody wants to get married anymore. It's not a requirement for everybody. And for a long time, I didn't understand it. I've met people who either don't want kids or don't want to get married, and I never used to understand it. Now that I have kids and I've been married, I understand both sides. Because we, as a people, should never, you do not need to ever feel pressure because another person is doing something that you feel like at a certain age you should be doing. If you had told me that, hey, I spent literally 10 years of my 20s, all of my 20s, because I met my partner at 19. I spent 10 years of my life in a relationship. 10 years in my 20s that I could have been using to, even though, yes, I did build my business, which was something that I will always be grateful that I still pursued. I was in a relationship and I felt like I could have learned myself a little more. I mean, granted, now I'm in a place where I am learning myself, and I'm learning every day. I'm just speaking from my experience. I'm not saying that this qualifies me as, oh my God, an expert because I've gone expert on marriage because I've gone divorced. But a lot of people don't understand that it's through failure that you learn the best lessons. It's not really through getting it right. It's like through actually getting it wrong, and you realize, oh, this is what I could have done better. Even if my relationship was tumultuous, what I realized is there were parts of the toxicity that came from the person that I was, and honestly, the person that I still am. Because even though I'm currently still on a healing journey, I am so satisfied with who I am today and who I've become, that when I look back at who I was, I understand that that person was only in that place because of what they could give. That was all I had. I was a 20-year-old who didn't understand anything about marriage, didn't understand anything about having kids. Honestly, still had a lot to learn, but thought I was an adult. And I was being thrust into the world of, hey, this is what you need to do now. And if I was going to give advice, aside from the marriage part of it and things I've learned now that I'm away from being married, is that I wish I had waited a little bit more to have kids, to learn my partner, to be with my partner. Now, that's only in my situation. There's different situations. Life isn't just this black and white thing. There might be another single mom watching this video that is in exactly my same shoes that will take things a little bit different. But for me, I have honestly used this whole thing and realized my greatest superpower is being an alchemist, which technically means somebody who is able to take something, no matter how traumatic it is, and turn it into positivity. And that was something that I didn't actually know about myself for a long time. But the more I learned that about myself, the more I loved that that part of me that was able to look at things, and no matter how bad things seemed, just be like, well, everything is going to be okay. Like, the things I've been through in my life, which I've honestly talked about on my channel, even like being in the mental institution, getting divorced, having kids, all the things I've talked about on my channel, and the things that have snowballed into who I am today, even though at the times I thought that they were going to break me, they actually made me so much more grateful for life, and so much more grateful for the fact that it's okay to make mistakes. Like, that was one of my biggest realizations in life, that yes, everybody gets it. I could have, should have, would have. We can say that all the time. But at the end of the day, this is my life. And the one thing that I hold on to is, I would much rather have my children today. I would much rather have been through this journey where I discovered so many things about myself, and I'm now trying to grow a business. And, you know, that was something I never even thought I was going to be able to do as a woman. Like, be able to say, okay, I want a lip gloss brand. How am I going to make it? I'm making it by myself. I think that I placed so much power in my partner and the person who I was with that I did not realize that most of the power comes from me. Even in dating, even in getting married, we mustn't, as women, see ourselves as people who need to be tamed, or people who need, oh, you need another person because you don't understand this. We are absolutely capable of understanding anything we want to, no matter how hard things seem, and no matter how much we don't get it. I remember for a long time I had so much problems with organization, and it took me a while to realize that the problem wasn't that I wasn't organized. The problem was that I needed help understanding how to be organized. Started understanding my process, you know. And even though I haven't really talked too much about dating on my channel, I have dated, and dating has been different because I'm dating people who have not been in the situations that I've been in, and I'm dating backwards. I tell my friends this all the time. I'm not dating thinking to myself that, oh, I'm dating you right now, we're just going to be boyfriend and girlfriend. I'm thinking, is this person, are they going to be a potential partner? And even if they're not a potential partner, where do I categorize them? And how is this person going to add to my life? Because I know how much I add to people's lives. And I think that's where I had to get. I know the power I hold as a partner now. Before I didn't. And because of that, I allowed anything and anyone to come in and out of my life. But because I know the power I hold as a person, I am more filtered in my approach to things. And honestly, the biggest lesson that I've learned is to never lose yourself while trying to find somebody else. And that was one thing that I lost that I would never ever take for granted again. The second that I feel like I'm losing a part of myself, or the values that I've cultivated on my own, somebody else comes in and I see myself wavering or kind of leaning towards their values, I always remind myself, remember, you are important. And there's going to be someone out there that's going to look at you and go, I love all of you. It doesn't matter your flaws, because all of us have flaws. All of us, no matter what, we all have flaws. Some people it's just easier for them to hide it. And some people are just not online talking about their flaws. Some people are just keeping it to themselves. But do not ever think that they don't have flaws. Nobody who has a family that you feel like is perfect. There's a balance in life. There's things that are happening behind the scenes, people that are helping them that you may not have help, but you're comparing yourself to other people that do have help, you know? So I don't want to make this too long, because I know that I said a lot during this video, but I always make videos like this. I really want it to be interactive because I like hearing from you guys. I am only one person, and I'm only talking about my experience. But I also know that there are other people out there who have similar experiences, who can share with people in their 20s and in their 30s about how Yes, we understand everybody wants to get married, but let that not be your only goal. There can be other goals, and you never know, marriage could come up within you searching for other things. And if that's something you don't want to do either, then so be it, but own your decisions. Try to figure out the reasons why you don't want to do something and own it. At the end of the day, like, honestly, this life is about being authentic to what feels good to you. And I know that as a society, you can be pushed out, especially, if you're not doing something that is typical. But sometimes, as Alphaba said in Wicked, sometimes it's okay to fly alone as long as you're flying free. But yeah, like I said, you guys, leave some comments. Let me know what your situation is, and even if you don't want to let me know your situation, like, give some advice to the women who are trying to get married, looking to marriage, and even advice to people who just in general are thinking, like, how am I gonna navigate in this new realm of social media and people telling you do this, no, high value woman, low value woman. Honestly, with all those things, I'm not even gonna lie, just to like wrap it up, just be authentic, be yourself. And you cannot be yourself if you don't know who you are. So learn yourself, figure out what makes you tick. And one thing is, a lot of people say learn yourself. One thing I have understood about learning myself is go back to the beginning. Who were you before the world told you who you need to be? And for me, that was my childhood. That was the freest time of my life. So a lot of times, sometimes even when I'm lacking inspiration, I go all the way straight back to like my old days, what made me happy, what made me tick. And that actually keeps me authentic, because it makes me realize, like, oh, that one thing that you thought you did, and maybe like, oh, you weren't really sure why you did that, but you've been doing it most of your life. Like, for me, it's fashion. Like, I love fashion. I've always loved fashion, and sometimes I have to remind myself that that's something that I genuinely enjoy, but I have to go back to look forward, So I hope you've enjoyed this video. Like I said, very impromptu. This Chick-fil-A is probably cold. I need to go eat. Have a great night, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.